Let me share my screen.
Thank you.
So we created a team plan for you, right? Hamed, and you and I are the admins. So
Yes.
what happens is that we are going to need all of the students to have KNIME Hub accounts, right? So hub.knime.com, they have to come here, create the accounts. And then we come here and start adding them as users. And then we decide if they're members, if they're admins, they're not going to be admins, just members. So after this is done, they can create a space that is private or public. And when they create a space, they can also determine who sees what's inside that space. And let me just do a demo here.
Excuse me, I don't have that manage team tab in my when I log in.
You don't?
No. Let's see if I.
It's very weird because the
Okay.
two of us are members and admins.
So let me, maybe that's logged in with a different.
Yeah, it's Hamed Z.
Okay.
Delete these two. Restart.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you see the manage team already?
I'm trying to log in with the other account, so let me see if that is done.
Can any student volunteer and write their username on the chat for me to test here? I'm assuming that some of you already have accounts on hub.knime.com. If not, please create one. This is going to be necessary if you want to have the spaces. Okay, so Stone1. Thank you, Nicholas. So I come here, manage team. Stone1. Stone1 or Stone1? Stone MST. Are you sure that this is your username, Nicholas?
Yeah, I thought so. Give me 1 second. I'll check again.
Mm-hmm. Let me try. Mike Schmidt 1. Enter username. Are you for these users do not exist? Are you sure that you have accounts on KNIME Hub with these names?
I just made mine.
Forum? Because the forum is something.
I just made that and it said it was authenticated, but
maybe these are your forum accounts. Well, if no one has an account on KNIME Hub that is valid, are you guys sure that these are your KNIME Hub accounts? Because, for example, I should be able to do this, right? If this is your account, I should be able to do this. But it says that it doesn't exist. For example, mine is Aline Bessa. Maybe these are your forum accounts. You have to come to hub.knime.com and create an account here. Okay? If nobody has an account here, it's a bit harder for me to demo this, but let's try. So once all of the students are added, I can, let me try to add a colleague of mine, Satoru. Okay, so someone volunteering
Okay.
here,
I can
Blaze.
see Blaze, so I added Blaze as member.
Okay, so 1 second, let me. Okay, Blaze, no, thank you. You are a member. I'm not setting you as an admin. Save changes. So, Blaze, can you open your KNIME Hub? You're going to see that you will have access to this interface now, a little modified because you cannot manage the team, but you should be able to create a new space here. And then you can determine if you want to create public or private. Let me, for example, create a private space named test. And then here, I am able to determine who has access to this. So edit. And the name of team members to be added to the space. So I can come here and just add Blaze, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying Blaze. It's a name that is very French to me, sorry. So I add Blaze here, and now Blaze is a person who's going to have access to this. Someone else, Michael, also sent me, Michael O'Toole also sent me. So let me also add Michael O'Toole here. And I will, so the admins do that, it's going to be Hamed and I that are going to create these private spaces, one per team, and add the members of each one of these teams to one of these spaces. So there will be group 1, group 2, and then the members of group 1 are going to be in the space for group 1, and all of them are going to be private because you want to work privately, right? You don't want other people using your solution necessarily. So let me assume that Blaze and Michael are working together. Again, this is just a test. So I'll add Michael here as well. And now both Michael and Blaze have access to this. Now, say that I want to upload a workflow that I'm working on. So let me stop sharing my screen, open KNIME very quickly here. And because I am the admin, I also can play with that space, but if I were just a member and if I'm not Michael or Blaze, then I cannot. So let's assume for a second. Let me share my screen again here. KNIME Analytics platform. All right. Now you can see KNIME Analytics platform. So say that this is the workflow that I'm playing. If I say that I'm Blaze and I start my project, Michael hasn't started yet, or Michael has started, but I started this workflow here. And I want Michael to be able to also work on this workflow here and create versions and all of that, okay? So the workflow is here. If I click this cube, I see where it is in my local space, and then I can come here and connect to Hub, my KNIME Hub. It's authenticating. And then I messed up my authentication, so I'm doing this twice. And then upload to Hub. And then when I upload to Hub, I am going to come to this space here, right? All of you should be able to see that. And then because I am an admin, I can see this thing here. The only people who can see this are Hamed, Michael, O'Toole, Blaze, and me. And then maybe I can decide to reset the workflow before upload. And now it's uploading. Now, If I refresh this, there will be a workflow here, right? You can upload folders with many workflows. You can upload data sets. I don't know if you folks have played a little bit with KNIME Business Hub, but it's basically a tree structure for files, right? So you have all of these different spaces. You see they're public because there's no little key. And then when you get inside a space, you can have workflows like this one, right? This one just has one workflow right away. Or you can have folders, which in turn are going to have different folders or workflows, just like a file system structure. So after you upload your work here, what you want to do is you want to create a version for that. So say that Michael started working on that, uploaded this to KNIME Community Hub, and he wants to create a version for that because he knows that Blaze might also be working on this workflow. And what if Blaze by accident inserts a bug in the workflow? Or what if Blaze does something and then they decide that what Michael had done, say that it's an interface. What if they decide that Michael's version was more beautiful? So they want to go back to that, right? So you want to do it such that you work on your computer on KNIME Analytics platform. When you're done, you upload your work to KNIME Community Hub, as I just showed here from the platform. And then when you are on KNIME Community Hub, you create a version. So you click history, and let's create a version. You have to give a name. So this is going to be initial version of text processing workflow. And then you create this, okay? And then a couple of hours later, or a day later, Blaze, who also has access to this space, comes here, downloads Michael's work, opens on KNIME Analytics platform, modifies it a little bit. So let's modify it a little bit, right? Let's, for example, remove all these nodes here. All these classification nodes. Let's just modify this a little bit. So now I'm Blaze, right? Before I was Michael, now I'm Blaze. And then I want to upload this again. So upload to Hub. I come here again. I have access to this. And reset the workflow. You want to overwrite the existing item, but you're going to be able to version it. So there will be many versions for one file. And then we come here again. And we have a version 415. Yeah, maybe the image. Let me see one thing here. No, deleted. Yeah, maybe let's see the versions. So this is a new version, right? So version without classification. The image sometimes takes a little while to change because maybe this is cached. Okay, so this has more to do with the browser than with anything else. But you can basically click history and go to different versions of the workflow. You can restore a version if you want to go back to a version. You can show this version. So let's see this version here, version without classification. Yeah, this is because the image is cached. But if you download it, let's download it. Download here, download workflow. If I come here and try to import a workflow, and this workflow is exactly this. We don't want to override, we want to keep them all so the name gets changed locally. And then, yeah, maybe I didn't save the workflow, yeah, the version, but basically, you should have these different versions here with the changes that you make on KNIME Business Hub. And then by navigating the history, you can pick what version you want to download, and you make sure that you're not overwriting another person's work. I probably didn't save that. That's why it didn't upload, right? But yes, this is basically how it's going to be, right? Once all of you have your accounts, Hamed can give me the names and the two of us can collaborate and create all of the different spaces here. Group one, maybe you want to have a name for your group. And then I will let everybody to the private spaces. And this is where they can upload their different workflows or version their different workflows. If you don't feel confident versioning right now, because you haven't done this before, many of you may not be familiar with version control software, so GitHub, etc. So if you don't want to do versioning, you can always create a workflow with a different name, but it's still a space that is private and that is here for you guys to collaborate and see what one another are doing. Okay, any questions? So the action item is clear, right? You all need to create an account on KNIME Business Hub and send your names to Hamed. Maybe Hamed can create a spreadsheet for that. And then we're going to get these names as soon as we can and create all this group structure here within this space, right? UG, MIS 385, da, da, da.
Okay, do you have any questions, folks who are here? Is there anything that you have run into that you cannot solve yourselves? You want to get some help?
I have a question on like the main like focus of our project.
Hmm.
So we have raw data of like 6,000 rows or so from Excel, and we're trying to make tables in SQL using the nodes. And we've created about like four tables, but like separately just going back into the database writer and recreating the tables. Is that okay, or is that gonna lead us to run into problems later?
So if I understood correctly, you are uh, populating the data from KNIME to SQL, right?
Correct.
That should work unless there is some error with like the data doesn't match with your tables. That might be the problem that you may come across. But if everything is an exact match, you shouldn't run into any problems. Just it should work.
Yeah, they all line up. It's just worried when we are doing like the interactive stuff on the like front end for like users is that I feel like that might cause a problem as in like not all the tables are saved in KNIME, they're only saved in SQL.
If you have all, so do you have all your data in MySQL right now, right? Is that
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, Nicholas, also if you want to share your screen, maybe, if Hamed is okay with that. Sometimes if you see the workflow that you're trying to
yeah,
build, it's easier to understand how we can help you.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Mason, the username that you've given is not here, so maybe
Maybe it's a
that's
form.
something else.
It can be the form.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a not a very large workflow, but I've just been going back into the database writer and recreating the tables. Over the last table I tried to create, there's an issue with um one of the attributes. But is that an okay thing to do? Is just go back in and like clear the table and then re-edit it over and over again?
Yes, you can do that. That's how KNIME works, right? Every time that a node is executed, any node, it is going to generate a table for you. And this table is not modifiable in the following sense. You give this table as an input to another node, or if you are inside a loop, it is going to be given to the same node again, but the representation of that initial table does not change. That's why, it goes step by step in the workflow, one node and then the other node. In the end, you have all of those tables that are the outputs of all of the nodes.
Okay. So if we were to create like interactive charts at the end for all of the tables, I wouldn't be able to do it this way. I'd have to create multiple nodes to have all the tables be outputs.
It depends. It depends. You can parameter. Can you give me a more concrete example? Like what is it that you're trying to do here?
Um, Hold on one second. So I'm not, we haven't really gotten to the interactive part of, at the, like, we haven't gotten, but we haven't gotten to the interactive nodes yet for our tables. We've just been working on creating the tables, but we just felt that would cause issues later on.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm understanding your problem very well, but what I would like to tell you is the following. If you want to retrieve different tables, is this what you're trying to do? Retrieve different tables from MySQL at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you heard of flow variables?
Um, yes, I have, but I'm not really
Yes,
sure
you're
how to
gonna
use
have
them.
to basically, so the name of the table, go back to settings, please. The name of the table can be, you see this V here, this little V right by, that determines the name of the
Yeah.
table. Right now, the
Hmm.
table's position, right? So
Hmm.
you can basically parameterize this name with something else. And then if you have 10 tables and you know the
Hmm.
names of the 10 tables, you can have a table creator node that generates a little table with the 10 different names. And you pass this little table to a loop. And every time that a new name is in, this name is used to parameterize the value here for this flow variable. And you keep executing, and then you execute over all of the tables, and you can perhaps concatenate those outputs in the end, or if they have very different schemas, then maybe you can add a few conditions and send a few to a visualization, so on and so forth.
Okay.
So to be more specific, you can click there, click this V, and it is going to ask you to use a certain variable. This variable can be the you're basically gonna have a table creator, and then this table creator, when the loop goes over it, every row can be turned into a variable, and then the name of this variable is passed here. Let me try to find an example on KNIME Hub for you of that. By the way, I cannot recommend this enough, okay? If you folks have questions, KNIME Hub and KNIME Forum are the places to go, especially KNIME Forum. But let me loop and flow variables. Let me try to find an example here that shows this more clearly. Read all sheets from an Excel file in a loop, for example, right? The sheets here. Let me try to share my screen with you and explain to you more or less how that would be, okay? In your case. So say that you have a way of, say that what you're trying to do here is you want to initially, let's talk about the bigger problem first. You want to iterate over these different tables that you have in your database. We can discuss each one of the different things to each one of them later, but that's the first problem, right? How do you go over each one of these tables? So you can have the names of the tables in a node that would not be this one, right? It would be, instead of giving you as an output the names of all the Excel sheets, because you're not using Excel, you would have maybe a table creator node here that would generate as an output one table with just one column, and each row would correspond to the name of one table that you have in the database. Perhaps, and I don't know by heart, you would have to look into it. Perhaps there is a node in KNIME database. Let's see, database, extract table names. I'm not sure that there's such a thing, but maybe there is a node that already extracts the names of all of the tables that you
Table
have
dimension.
on your database. But regardless, you start with one table that has all of the names, okay? Here in this case, it's names of sheets, but in your case would be the names of the tables. And then you are going to have a loop like that, table row to variable loop start, that will get each one of the rows. So say that we have 3 tables. The first one is named Aline, the second one is named Hamed, and the third one is named Nicholas, right? So this loop here gets the first row, Aline, and turns this into a variable named database table name. And the value for this variable is going to be Aline at first. And then this is going to be sent to that node that you had when you were sharing your screen. And then you're going to parameterize that flow variable with this one, right? Database name. And then you can do a lot of different things here in this loop, right? And then the loop ends. And then when the loop runs again, the second row is going to be Hamed. So now the value for this variable named database table name is going to be Hamed. So you're going to use this variable database table name to parameterize that node that you were sharing, the flow variable for that. So it's a single structure, right? You're always going to parameterize that flow variable that you were showing with this variable that is created here in the table row to variable loop start. Database table name, something like that. And then the value of this variable keeps changing, right? And keeps changing how? Keeps changing because the value is going to be the next name that you have in this input object here. So I think that this is a good example that might get you going.
There's a DB table selector. Would that do the job?
I don't know all the names of all the nodes by heart, guys. Maybe you have to see the description. Let's see, what's the name?
DB table selector.
Yeah, DB table selector, but what he's saying is then he wants to make that automatic, right? So that the DB table selector selects all of the different tables at once. No, not at once, but in a loop or something. And what I'm trying to say is that he can have that. If he has a list of all of the names, he can have a loop just like that one that I just showed, in which he is going to use a flow variable named, for example, database table name, to parameterize and indicate what table should be read next. But maybe there is a node in KNIME that gives you all of the names of the tables that are inside your database, but I am not sure. The way to find that is to look on KNIME Hub or ask in the form, right? So database table names. Let me see if something shows up.
Nick, if you couldn't find that node, maybe like you could create 4 different branches to look, I know how many tables you have, but
yeah,
let's say you want to do 3 tables, just create 3 branches to call each one independently.
Okay.
Yes, you can do the different branches, or if you know that the tasks are going to be very similar, they can all be inside one single loop. And what changes is the table itself, right? The database table name. And this can be just the value of a flow variable. But yeah, even I working at KNIME, I'm showing you exactly what I do, right? If I don't know something, I go to KNIME Hub and I look for examples exactly like I did now. And if I'm still confused, I go to KNIME Forum or I ask my colleagues. You can always email me if you have questions or tag me on the forum, right? Someone did that this week and I saw that someone is already providing support. It's not that I myself is going to provide support, but I can notify my colleagues to go there and provide support. Or if it's something I know, I can provide the support as well.
And then as I also said in that email yesterday, you could shift the focus to KNIME only for the project. You don't have to, if you run into problems in putting the data into the tables, you could put them in the tables first and then come into KNIME, get connected to your tables in MySQL and focus on working in KNIME to pull the data into KNIME and then perform all those kind of analyses with them. So you could just put your main focus on pulling the data into KNIME and then do whatever you want to do
exactly.
with the data.
Don't worry about making it. If you don't want to play with flow variables right now, it's what Hamed said, hard code 4 different branches, little by little, you're going to get more used to that. It's just like programming with regular code. Little by little, you understand the concepts.
Right, any other questions? So, Aline, if I guess they can understand what their username is on the left. So my KNIME is the traditional view. I'm not much familiar with the new view of the
Oh, no problem. Yeah, it's
KNIME.
okay.
On the left panel at the top, there is my KNIME hub, and then
Can you
I'd
share your
see my
screen?
user
I'll show you.
ID.
If you share your screen, I'll show you how
Yes.
to upload stuff to KNIME Community Hub from the old interface as well. The students may benefit from that too.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess from here they can understand what the username is, right?
Yes. Oh, yours is Zoba. Yeah, yours is
Yeah.
Zobanin.
I have two. I understood right now that I have two, so I added this to that
Yeah. How
folder
many?
as well. I
Ah,
added
cool. All
myself.
right, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you want to, so go to your local, right? Go to your local workspace down there. Yeah, local. You can, for example, get this KNIME drug court. Yeah, it can be
Okay, yeah, this
anything.
one.
Yeah, if you right click, it's going to ask you deploy to server. So click that option, deploy to server. My KNIME hub. Keep going. No, keep going. Oh, then it's going to just send this to your hub. You don't want to send this to the folder, the space that we created.
Oh, okay, here.
But it doesn't seem like, yeah, this account doesn't have access to that team.
But I added myself.
Maybe you need to refresh or restart the platform. I'm not quite sure. Let me see if you're here.
Because I feel my home computer is on the different in a different user than this.
I'm not
So let me
seeing you here.
close this and reopen.
Ah, okay, Zobanin. Okay, I see Zobanin here.
Close
So you should be
this.
able to see it. Maybe you just need to reopen the platform or something like that. Mm-hmm. Takes a little while, right, to open. It depends on how many extensions you have.
Yes, it's not open yet. It's working on it. Usually doesn't take this long. Okay, there it is. Now my local, let's say we're gonna do this. Deploy to server is not active now. Oh, let me.
Double click. Yeah, you're gonna have to log
Yeah, it's
in.
not connected yet.
It's gonna fetch the content, and now you can see MIS, So yeah, feel free to double click any
Yes.
workflow that is on your local workspace. Let's double click, deploy to server. And now you can navigate this tree structure and choose exactly where you want to put it. For example, there, MIS project. And because you are,
don't see that.
Yes, and you won't see the test because maybe this username, Zobani, is not added to the...
It's now changed it to Ahmed Z.
Ah, okay. All right. MIS 385 project. Okay. Now you can hit send. You see upload. You see at the very bottom here, 7%. Upload of KNIME drug, 7%. This is gonna take a little while.
I don't see that on my side.
No, there you go. If you go back to the platform, look at the very bottom to the right, you see that there is a message saying upload of
Yes.
KNIME.
Okay.
Yeah, it says that only 7% got uploaded. Maybe you have is this workflow very long or very
I
complex?
don't think so.
Maybe are you having any kind of connection problem?
I don't think so. I don't know. Let me see. I'm opening it on my local machine. Let's see.
Maybe it has a big data set.
Perhaps the data set is big.
Yeah, but this is but now the students saw how they can do this from the old interface as well if they prefer to use the old interface. Now it's going, you see, 81%, 100%. So just give it a second. Now, if you go to the web browser and refresh that page, you should be able to see your workflow there. The spaces of UG, yeah. If you refresh this, it should be there.
All right, so that should have been a different workflow. I don't see that folder here. It's just MIS 385.
What space did you upload that to?
It was MIS 385. MIS 385
Yeah,
project.
but this is not the name. This is not the name of that.
Yeah, I don't see that folder here. Like,
can you click private and also click public to see? Yeah, I'm not seeing that folder. That is not, because that folder is not going to be inside that space. That folder is going to be in your regular account, right? If you just go, for example, 1 second. Let me show you my screen. Window. Hamed Z, right? This one?
yes.
So let me share my screen with you very quickly.
Stop share.
So weird. I don't see it here. 1 second. Is this space public or private? Yeah, something
probably
went wrong.
private. How can I know that?
Also, then the name of the space is UG underscore ta ta ta.
Yeah, that's the one that we created for the project.
Yes,
This is one I've created.
I don't know why you're not seeing that. Can you share your screen again, just once more?
Sure.
My KNIME Hub. And Ahmed Z at hub.knime.com. That is very weird because I'm not seeing that project, and this is not the name of the space, right? For example, let me show you my screen here, and I'll go back to the old interface. There's something with the username, maybe. Let me come here, right? So let's go back to the old interface. And if I come here, my KNIME Hub, this is one of the spaces, you see? I'm not seeing that space for you, and I don't know why I'm not seeing that.
What is that API that you have after your username?
Yours is just Hamed Z.
Mine is just hub.knime.com.
Yeah, that is very weird. And also when I go to your regular account, the public account, I don't see that folder either. If I come here, Hamed Z. If I just come here, I don't see that folder MIS either, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask what's going on. Blaze or Michael, can you check if you can see the UG underscore on your interface on your KNIME?
Yeah, I can look.
You can use either this version of KNIME Analytics platform or the newest one. You should be able to see the space. Yeah, even the icons in your platform are looking a little weird, Hamed. What version are you using?
412.
Hmm?
It's version 412.
412. Can you upload to 4.7? 412 is very, very old. Maybe gotta be, I don't know, it shouldn't be buggy, but you should probably be using 5.1 or 4.7. I don't recommend using something that old.
Okay, I think I reinstalled it a few days ago. It still,
Because even you see, if, for example, if I want to upload anything and I double click a workflow, it says upload to server or hub. Yours just said deploy to server. That's,
yes.
it seems like it's very old and maybe something got wrong in the process.
Okay, okay.
Well, let's see if Blaze or Michael got it right, if they can see. Feel free to share your, one of you, maybe if you want to share your screen. I'm gonna have to go quickly, so I appreciate that. If one of you two can share.
Liz, can you find it, or Michael?
I'm currently not seeing it on mine.
Can you
What
share?
am I looking for the hub or what am I looking for?
No, please open KNIME Analytics platform, and if you could share your screen with us, it would be great.
Okay.
Nick is also, I added Nick as well, Nick Stone, and a few others maybe.
All right. Okay, so just go to local space underneath. Just to make it easier for Hamed as well. Can you click I, that little icon at the top right? Go down, switch to classic user interface. Just so Hamed sees more easily in his, since he doesn't have it. So
Okay.
can you click My KNIME Hub, please? And sorry for calling you Blaise. I have a friend who's French, and yeah,
No problem.
Blaise. So you see
Yes, that is.
UGMIS, it's right there.
This
So
one?
yeah, Hamed. I think it's a problem with the version you're using. It's really, really old.
Okay, I will update that.
Okay, folks. Do any of you have any pressing question? I unfortunately have an appointment and I will have to drop out very soon. Do you folks have any other question? You can always email me as well. Please feel free. Let me once again type my email here. Okay, so Hamed, please let me know if you run into any problems with the newer version. If you folks want to see how to do that, I showed right when I was demonstrating how to upload to KNIME Community Hub from the new interface as well. That's the first thing that I showed today with the classification workflow. But yeah, feel free to use either interface, whatever you feel most comfortable with for now. And Hamed, let me know if you run into any issues with the newer version, okay?
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks.
If you have any questions, write to me or write in the forum if you want to leverage more people, right, to help you. But feel free to tag me, and I'm excited to see what you're going to have to show after Thanksgiving, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.